there was immediate silence in the bookshop. The old experimental novelist thought about the unmitigated debt that he owed to all these fantastic pals that had made this possible. This moment in space and time will never occur in any other continuum, no matter what that cunt you ever at the third says. He didn't know what the fuck he was talking about with his many worlds theory. This is it, people. And so, thank you to everyone, but especially Armani for inviting us here, and also my comrade in arms, Sönke, who is actually half of the Chus Martinez that wrote the Bastardizer. He did the pictures, and given we can't do pictures in real life, we are doing music instead. We are going to kick off with track 3 off of Unconditional Loop, the Ekranoplans' second album, which is called Daisy Chain. If you'd like to say something, Zeke?
Well, I'm a man of a few words. My name is Sönke. Some people call me Sönke, other people call me Z. I've been working with sound for the past 20-25 years in various forms, film, music, all sorts of weird stuff. And we're just going to play this little ditty we wrote together about 10 years ago or something, or 5?
Yeah, no, 7 now.
Maybe 15.
6.5.
Okay. Okay, it's called Daisy Chain.
Oh, won't you make a daisy chain? Thread this blossom round your throat. I don't think it's going to rain. You might as well take off your coat. It seems a shame to pick the flowers when they look so pretty. But I could sit and watch for hours the petals dancing through your hair. Oh, won't you make a daisy chain? Although the petals will tonight, come to the dawn, they'll bloom again. Let's go to your place and get high, and get high. Woo! Donovan, we're breathing with you for your great master. There you go. The wheel of history grind on. Now, that tune, of course, was about a park. It's not actually known exactly which park that was. I'm going to read a chapter now from this book, The Bastardizer Polishes, Turd, which came out about 18 months ago of Cripplegate Books of London, and has taken on a life of its own and morphed into compact discs, audio book, 2 CD deluxe edition, remastered, that you can listen to the whole unexpurgated glory with belches and farts and helicopter noises, real helicopter noises. You can also get the, which is what we're launching tonight, Simon Strong live at Kellerman Books and Records in Sheffield. This is a very bizarre CD because everybody involved with making this CD was actually a bookseller. The guy that put the gig on obviously was a bookseller, David Granville. Big up. Myself, Simon Strong Records, was a bookseller for many, many years. And Sleeve Notes by the great Dr. Gonzo, one of the great booksellers of Australia. So you've got booksellers united in struggle and song. Sönke wasn't a bookseller, but he did distribute cinema newspapers for many years. And so he was like basically giving it away for free. All power to the people, liberate fully everywhere. Even a dog that piss on the wall of Babylon knows that you shall see the day when Babylon falls. Yeah? Alright, now see, yeah, I know deal with violence, none of that. So this is a chapter called Peristeronic Sounds, and it contains MA 15 plus violence. Now the doomed and annoying documentarian went into ye shop in ye park to get ye black tea and perhaps ye scone if he felt like it. A student-y looking bloke with a beard and tape recorder and a microphone was prodding bushes nearby, trying to get sounds of bird song, or maybe people copulating, but it was a bit early for that. He gave up on the bushes, got a bag from his pocket, started tossing small pinches of birdseed around to attract pigeons for some arcane reason. The birds seemed unimpressed by his equipment and backed off when he brandished his oversized microphone at them. But one bird went against the tide. Was it hungrier, more stupid, or more brave than the rest? We'll probably never know. It waddled cautiously up to the tasty grains and commenced to peck at them. It took a minute for his comrades to realise, but soon they descended on him to discourage the scab. As several, they drove him off, even though they knew that if he'd been mad enough to try for it in the first place, he'd be mad enough to fight for it now. No, it all escalated horribly. Before you knew it, all the birds were picking a poor little fucker's head in. It was going horribly wrong for him. It was like a horrible perversion of that Edgar Broughter banger, evening over the rooftops off of the Meat album. Do you know that one? That's a fucking banger one. Yeah, I love it. The night was thick like honey, beaming on the room. Yeah, fucking dynamite. Check it out. It's on the Meat album. You can't miss it. It's got a fucking butcher's shop on the front. I love tautologies. Mind you, the bloke with a tape recorder ogled the horrible spectacle aghast, and he was rooted to the spot. He suddenly realised what he'd started and he dove in, waving his arms around and trying to drive off the angry birds. But the birds had done their job well. The scat pigeon was twitching in its death agonies. But maybe birds are like fish and don't actually feel pain. I don't know. I'm not a fucking expert. Last time I fucking checked, am I? Pretty soon, they were drunk with avian gore, and they were curious to sample the variety of a new species. So they descended upon the pitiful field recordists like harbingers of doom. I've not read that bit before, I'm sorry, I'm a bit high. They showed him what for. He was sliding around like a mad bastard. They were shredding him, they were shredding his beard. It was a shit beard in the first place. One of them was going to hit an artery. It was all going to turn ugly. But by now, our eroticist protagonist had lost interest. He finished his tea and his scone, and he went. So he missed the end. Fucking hell, who'd want to work in a casualty department? Now, this book, The Bastardizer Polishes of Turd by Chus Martinez, is of course an instalment in the great Gesamtkunstwerk, the big oeuvre. So it intersects. What the fuck am I talking about? Oh yeah. Isn't it odd that in the 1980s in the north of England, a whole bunch of groups spontaneously made tunes about the JFK assassination? You got Magazine kicked off with Motorcade on Second-Hand Daylight, and then after that a fucking Human League with Seconds. But it's interesting that in Yorkshire, the Human League I think have two tunes about JFK. But then in Leeds, of course, you got the Mekons and the Wedding Present. And so I'll just read a chapter now about what happened on the 22nd of November 1963. We'll play the tune after I've read the chapter, but I'll try and read it really, really, really fast, just for comedic value, right? So let me just gather my thoughts, because I'm going to try and spit this like a motherfucker, as some like great philosopher will think. Just have a moment to reflect what frame 237 of it as a Pruder film looks like if you think violence is fucking funny, like I do. The 22nd of November 1963 was a relatively eventful day. In the UK, for example, the Beatles issued their second album with the Beatles to a hysterical, popular and critical reaction. whilst on the other side of the Atlantic, Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove was getting its first test screening, and the 35th President of the United States of America was being shot in the head and reputedly killed. Concerned that the latter event would distract viewers, the BBC postponed broadcasting a revolutionary new science fiction show which was called Doctor Who until the next day. And 3 of these 4 events are often inextricably linked. Oh shit, maybe I need to slow down, I don't know. In the minds of those old enough to recall them and others who just knew about them in the first place. Over the next 23 years, a bunch of mostly terrible JFK-related tunes would be released. The first of these, The Burrs, He Was a Friend of Mine, was supposedly written on the day of the shooting and a reworking of a folk standard dating back to at least not December 1933 when John Lomax recorded James Lionhead Baker singing Shorty George at Central State Prison Farm in Sugarland. McGuinn's lyrics, from her 6th floor window, a gunman shot him down. I changed it to not breach copyright, you understand. Indicated that the singer concurred with the findings of the Warren Commission that JFK had been killed by Lee Harvey Oswald acting alone. This opinion was squarely contradicted by David Crosby himself when the group played the Monterey Pop Festival in California in Saturday, 17th of June 1967. Oh, everybody's paid attention. This is fucking going to become very important in the future. In an intertune interjection prior to the JFK tribute, he alleged, what the fuck? We'll just play the fucking tune, right, man? It's fucking funny when you read it, right? Everybody's got fucking things to do and people to see, haven't they? Let's rock it, man. God bless the Mekons, God bless John Longford. And this song has been cleared by the author, so no copyright violation, no lost lives. Rock it.
Fire.
God bless John Langford. What a fast product. What a label fast product was. It was, first label before Factory. That inspired Tony Wilson to start Factory. And that's what this is based on the cover for Fast 4, the Human League's being bothered, the first people to issue the Human League, and the Mekons, Gang of Four, Scars, and Bob Lass and Josephine, fantastic influence of popular music. Now, who here's read The Bastardizer? Has anybody read The Bastardizer? Woo! Okay, does anybody have a favourite? Anybody got a favourite scene that you'd like me to read next? Any requests? So you can just give me a number. You can just give me a number.
When he's on his motorbike.
When he's on his motorbike, he's on a... Oh no, the Banality of Evil. Well, when he gets on the motorbike. Yeah. It's a bit of a fucking long one. It's got 2 pictures there. I'm a bit knackered. Alright, there we go. What are we doing after this? Yeah. Alright, now this has got, like, if anybody's ever been involved in any, something, I don't know, it might be triggering for some people. If it is, just leave. Right. Really, it does get unpleasant. Nothing like the first novel, A259. It's not fucking anything like that. This is fucking kindergarten shit. Alright, The Banality of Evil. It was then that my piece chose to accidentally discharge. The shot went straight into the cassette player over the bar. Fragments of plastic shrapnel shot out all over the place, and the tape spooled itself onto the floor like the deck was spewing out lungfuls of blood or entrails or something worse. Obviously, the tune came to an abrupt end at that point. An astonished-looking white guy with dreadlocks looked up at me. He was astonished. "What the fuck?" he went. I improvised and I went into my customary damage limitation routine. 1. That cassette constitutes an unlawful reproduction of a copyright work. 2. You are committing a criminal offence by publicly disseminating a copyright work without permission and without payment of the royalties and associated fees. 3. This venue is not licensed by the relevant authority for public performances. 4. Or dancing, if that's what it was. Or 5, for that matter. And 6. Say your prayers, motherfucker! And I punched the cunt in the gut and he doubled up. I kneed him in the teeth while he was still down there. He keeled over backwards. I grabbed his greasy dreads and spun him around on the beery ground. So it was dealing in front of me on the ground like an exotic fruit. Like this. Like an exotic fruit that I was going to do a 6-pack on. The onlookers moved even further back, clutching at the bar. A terrified old geezer in a postman's uniform suddenly puked into his mailbag with the fear, or the beer, or both. I let off a round in his general direction anyway, and the sack burst in an explosion of confetti and vomit, spattering the guys on either side of him. And they recoiled in disgust, like the gun in my fist just had. It was only then that I realised I didn't know what order you were meant to do the 6-pack business in. You work at one side, foot, kneecap, elbow, but you start both peak, go down from the top, elbows even in it. It was complex. I should have thought it all through before I started, shouldn't I? But it was too late now, so I shot him in the right foot to start with. Yeah, his expensive trainer was instantly depreciated. As opposed to being instantly deprecated. There's a fucking shithouse apology for a shoe. Alright, so... he screamed first, and then he started on the customary howling and gibbering, and when I shot him in the other foot, great gobbets of blood and bone fragments splodged up onto the stripper, who was over by the bar. I watched transfixed as her finger removed downwards to take the bloody chump from the nether regions. It was discarded, but she tried to wipe the gunk off herself. She only ended up arousing herself and spreading it around inadvertently in the process. Her finger slipped into the depths of her feminine mystery. I hadn't seen that coming. She left out a soft groan. She let out a soft groan. Well, I mean, she left one out as well. Who knows what she was doing? She was obviously one of those women who were sexually aroused by extreme gratuitous violence. This could be a match made in heaven. They didn't grow on trees, you know. Suddenly I was distracted as a crazy fuckwit leapt over the bar brandishing a cricket bat like it was some kind of berserker. I subconsciously let off a round in his direction. The cricket bat splintered into 1,000 willowy splinters, some of the especially evil ones lodged in my assailant's eyeballs. Bye! He went like a racist caricature in a 1970s war comic. I noticed there were several deadly splinters sticking out of his arse cheeks too, as he hit the deck. I can't read this because it's fucking covered in blood. It was, I was pederast? No, it didn't say that. The contortion he must have performed to make this thing possible, and how it had gone mentioned on heretofore in the narrative up to this point. Sorry. And just then the stripper grunted. She was still digitally remasturbated as she leant back on the bar with her spare hand. She manipulated the pert antenna of her starboard hemispheres. Eyes closed, lips pouted, standard operational procedure as her climaxing bended. The guy was six-packing meanwhile had fainted, and I realised I was holding him up by his ridiculous hairstyle. The place had pretty much emptied by now, except for him and her, and the guy clutching his eyes and crying like a miserable little girl, failing miserably, struck with terrible agonies. It struck me as ironic that it was his colleague that had previously regaled with the Oedipal pejorative. I felt a tug at my sleeve and spun around. It was the stripper. "We gotta get out of this place," she went. She was quoting Cynthia Weil oppositely. And no, we're not going to do any Tross tunes tonight. "Good idea," I heard myself go. She pulled me through the door. Okay, give me 60 seconds. She pulled me through the door, paused at a coat rack to pull on a see-through PVC raincoat and pick up a tankard of takings. I hurled the door open for her chivalrously, and the daylight burst in on her and her amazing arse. This was a lime green Vespa directly outside the pub. She hitched up her Mac and she threw her leg over. "Get on," she barked, pulling some wiry shit from under the handlebars and fiddling with it. I got on behind her, making sure I straddled the scooter manfully, because it might look a bit effeminate otherwise. I heard a bellow from the pub. The doors were open and the guy with it blind thing I mentioned earlier came bumbling outwards. Noticed at this point that the pub was actually called a Cock in Hand for some inexplicable reason. "Hey!" he screamed again as the daylight shredded his buggered up seeing bulbs. The machine started and we sped off quite slowly, but we got away anyway, and the last thing we ever saw, the poor geezer fell under a street sweeping van. It had been bearing down upon us, noisily washing the curb, fucking loud as fuck. I thought blind people were meant to have good hearing to make up for it. What wasn't his luck? Fucking hell. The last thing we saw, he was being sucked up feet first into the spinning brushes in the rearview mirror. Oh dear. And that's the end of that chapter. Well, that's one of the milder ones. There is some gory shit in there as well. And okay, people don't know how difficult it is being an experimental novelist. You think being a musician is difficult. But imagine not being able to play an instrument. Imagine not being able to still being a musician. What would you do? You'd have to become an experimental novelist, wouldn't you? I wrote this tune as a favour to my friend Aaron. Hey! As part of his ongoing vendetta with Nick Cave. My ongoing vendetta with Johnny Cash. Fuck that guy. I didn't mean that, I was just trying to get a rise out. I hope you would bottle me. Fucking hell, people, pay attention. You don't have to agree with everything I say, especially not this next tune. Now, what did Nick Cave ever do to deserve the wrath of Aaron? We don't need him to introduce that. Oh, he's gone away.
Where is he?
He heard you were playing something then.
Okay. Oh, well, anyway. Just leave it in his name. Dub plate style.
Should we start?
Yeah, let's shout out to John Downing, Dirty This End Records, greatest lace cuts in Sheffield.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Get your bastardizer dub plates in the car park outside.
Okay.
Bring the next. Cause I tap these lonely sheets, I've been me away. Gonzo for writing the sleeve notes to the fantastic CD. I've made those thanks, but also let's do a shout out to the Bastardizer Remix project. No sleep till Bastardizer Smith. I had to suspend the vinyl because of the vinyl price increase business, so it's going to come out on CD. But the good news is that it's going to be a 2 CD set with a banging other instrumental remix, with a remix CD of the original remix CD, which is going to be fucking. We're going to get so metatextual that not only am I going to disappear at my own arse, everybody's going to disappear at their arse if they're exposed to this kind of material. I mean, it's fucking Nobel Prize shit. Let's surprise them. No, not like that. Don't do that tune, you know. Like I was saying, the Bastardizer Polishes the Turd is fantastic. There's lots of violence, and a lot of it is actually, it's not actually about copyright violation, right? It's not white supremacy, right, if you wondered. And it's also about homelessness and how the Reagan-Thatcher Pact destroyed Western civilization. Hey! So let's rock on down to St. Answell's Gardens.
Good.
Which is where the orphanage is that burns down.
Yeah.
See that black man in the street, a dead old doctor at his feet. Tap, tap, tap across the road. Tap, tap, scrumptious, how it goes. There's a nation separates the got time for any more? Is it?
10 past 6.
Oh, 10 past. Oh, we've got time to 10 past 6. Is that good? We've got time for a bit more?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we've got to knock off at 6:30. So is everybody all right for a drink? Anybody in for another drink? Lager break. Pass around. So I suppose I should
free.
explain.
Don't know how you that
So,
Happy to help.
yeah, so
very nice. He's happy to.
That's very happy.
Both of you have judged me without knowing me, so I like to that's self-affection.
okay, so somebody give me a random number between
44.
44. I haven't read page 44 before.
1 and 43.
I'm good at random numbers. It's my special.
Okay.
Superpower.
This is good, this chapter. Oh, it's a bit long.
One among many.
Oh, that's actually Peristeronic Sounds. I'm going to explain that. I can't do that one. Because that's really complicated. It's got,
44's out.
so it's got catalogue numbers and shit.
37.
Oh, it's 30.
Everybody's favourite.
I read 13 already.
49,789,000,407.
That's, oh jeez, I can't think of any.
How about 67?
32.
Yeah, come on.
Give us the meaning of life.
For the dirty Douglas Adams.
Something gothic.
Well, this is pretty fucking got. It's got Charles Dickens in. Is that got? Yeah. All right, this is really long, but it's pretty fucking trippy. So I wish I had a fucking smoke. I mean, that seemed like yesterday. That was fucking 40 minutes ago. I'll spare a thought for me trying to fucking do this virtually straight. Can't sit down.
You seem fucked, if that helps.
No, it's good. It's what do they call it? It's shit, isn't it? I fucking have to pay Charles Bukowski a fucking retainer, even though he's dead. His lawyers demanded to piss at experimental Novelist. He copyrighted it the same way Genesis Fiore did with those stupid tattoos. None of you need to know this shit. What are you here the reading then? 1842. It was a wild ride on the Chrono Funnel TM. It was all psychedelic like the end of Behind the Green Door. Or was it that Doris Wishman one, Satan Was a Lady? It's more like that than it was 2001 A Space Odyssey. There was no sex at all in that portentous chocolate box nonsense. Fox Stanley Kubrick as well. I meant that fucking sentence. It's not a bastardizer, that's me. Funny and enlightened, that means sprawling green luminous washes of oily emulsion, vistas of green and purple with disembodied voices out of nowhere, rushing noise, stroboscopic refractions, slightly rods, beings painted with flowery, summery, gentle spray in your face, walk past the fountain, bird song, spray, drawing incense, you raise the sun, lap behind you, you turn and glimpse of flesh, gunnery, moon can't make out. Yeah, we sounds like it's not. You can make sense actually in the book. It all makes sense. I'm just really fucking hammered. Two lovely. She held out that £20 note. It isn't the Queen. It's the other side. A Victorian twat with a beard. Charles Dickens. I won't read the footnote. His head gets bigger and bigger, filling the field. It gets good in a bit. This chapter, filling the field of vision. All the little etching lines resolving. A quick zoom backwards like that shot of Roy Scheider. Woo! Now, funny, all my novels include a shout out to Roy Scheider in them. Yay! It's like, yeah, fucking Sorcerer. Watch Sorcerer a couple hours ago. Everything's Sorcerer. Fucking dynamite. Literally, it's fucking about dynamite. Isn't it? Like,
Not as listen.
not as good as Legends of Fear, but it's in colour and it's got a Tangerine Dream synth pop soundtrack. I think Tangerine Dream are actually mentioned in the Bastardizer, but not the Sorcerer soundtrack. Everything loops back on itself. Time is a spiral. Oh, it's more like a gyre. W.B. Yeats thought it was a gyre. And then I was there with the huge bearded cunt in front of me, as large as you like, on the podium straight there. And I was in a wood-panelled hall filled with folks, mostly blokes in period costumes. There's a big diagram of some kind hanging on a screen behind him. Chaz was pretty worked up. He was railing and thumping a podium so that his notes jumped up. He swept them to swish to the floor in disgust. The sound kicked in. I have to do the Charles Dickens impression. Okay. I was about to say, what the fuck does it sound like that? I don't know, I'm an acid. I was about to say that Shakespeare derived some of his plots from the old tales and legends in general circulation, but it seems to me that some of you American gentlemen have gone far beyond your craft at the present day and have shot very far beyond him. Oh yeah, it was well ugly. It was railing away, bits of spit were coming out, sticking in his beard, he had hair coming out of his ears and nose like they did in those days. Then suddenly a lanky bastard in a stovepipe hat jumped up from the front lines, did some ejaculating of his own. "Ah, you're quite right, sir," he said in a ridiculous Yankee accent. "Human intellect has progressed since his time. Is progressing and will progress." That's a big answer to a fucking Bob Dylan. I don't know. Chas was having none of it. Shot beyond him, I mean. That's Charles Dickens speaking. In quite another respect. For whereas he has brought with him the magic circle of his genius, traditions peculiar adapted to his purpose, and turned familiar things into constellations which should enlighten the world for ages, you drag within the magic circle of your dullness subjects not at all adapted to the purpose of the stage, and debase as he exalted. For instance, you take the uncompleted books of living authors, fresh from their hands, wet from their press, cut, hack, carve them to the powers and the capacities of your actors, the capabilities of your theatres, cheap, finished, unfinished works, hastily, orderly, vamped up ideas not yet worked out by the original projector. Doubtless costing many thoughtless days and sleepless nights by comparison of incidents and dialogue, down to the very last word that you may have written a fortnight before. Do your utmost to anticipate his plot, and all of this without his permission and against his will, and then to crown the whole proceeding, publish in some mean pamphlet an unmeaning farage of garbled extracts from his work, to which your name as author, with the honourable distinction annexed of having perpetrated 100 other outrages of the same fucking description. Show me the distinction between this and picking a man's pocket in the street, you fucking bastards! Unless, indeed, it be that the legislator has more regard for men's handkerchiefs and he leaves men's brains, unless they're knocked out by violence, to take care of themselves. They were prescient words. The hall erupted into uproar. Witty punters started throwing their snot rags at the stage. A few of them hit the mark. Chas moved to one side of the podium, making "come and have a go if you think you're hard enough" gestures. There's a picture here of him doing that. And that's what it looks like. That's a ridiculous likeness to Charles Dickens. That's the most lifelike I've seen there. I was standing at the back. I could make it out going off. I was standing at the back so I could make it at the back if it all started to kick off. I pulled out my piece to be on the safe side. A strapping youth in a comically exaggerated tweed cap suddenly sprinted down the aisle and leapt up onto the stage, squaring off against the plucky, limey scribe. Dickens was obviously not in tip-top condition, but he didn't look too bothered. He had the benefit of experience. As the assailant moved in, putting his fists up in a Marquis of Queensberry stamp, Dickens quickly grabbed a handy pointer thing off the podium and started smacking him around the head with it. It made a fantastic swishing noise as it went through the air, and a fantastic swacking noise as it connected. Nice! The young guy covered his head and towered over backwards, tripping over, and then Chas put a boot in. After a couple of very tasty goes, the Yank was curled up in a fetal stance, pissing and shitting all over himself on the stage, and everyone in the audience was having a good throaty laugh at him, and they all forgot their anger. Well, not quite everyone. A couple of official-looking dudes came up to Dickens and gently relieved him of the now broken pointy finger, and then they quietly led him off stage like the towel waller routine that James Brown always used to do in his show. And yes, like the Godfather of Soul, Chas couldn't return. Yes, he couldn't refrain himself from breaking free for a couple of bonus kicks to the unfortunate twat. And before he went quietly, the hall exploded into cheers and applause and mass stamping of feet. I noticed a tasty bird in the crinoline skirt standing beside me. "That was pretty fucked up," I yelled over the hubbub. She ignored me. "That was pretty fucked up," I said, and she still ignored me. Then there was a very loud noise, and I finished the chapter. Thank you. Yeah. Massive respect to Charles Dickens, his books. Fucking hell, they're big, right? I think, I don't know, is it still going? We're going to do Blood Sugar Dropping then.
One more song.
Yeah. Okay, here's another old Pete Sellers tail tune and then we might have to all hit the road, I guess. Thank you all so much for coming down. I hope it's been an experience of one kind or another. Hopefully on the positive side of the ton scale. Blessings. People think the world is complicated. It's always just as complicated as it always is. Yeah, wise words. Yeah. What will you choose? I like the red one. You like the blue. Red ones are hard. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna run the whole time. And now you can see me. How can I see ya? I'm giving you to say if you're evil or out. I know that that's okay. How can I see ya? Jars he keeps out back. I don't understand half the things that he tells me. Eyes as cold and glassy as the hunger that he tells me. I don't like see ya. You can say if you're evil or out. I know that's okay. I don't like see ya. It's not dramatic if it didn't taste so. This is just not even the tip of the iceberg. If you think of it in spatial terms, that's what it is. But let's think of it in temporal terms. Everything is going to be fantastic in the future. Fucking trust me.
It's going to be spatio-temporal.
Oh, it's going to be everything. It is. People are going to look in 100 years and go, that fucking Yoko Ono, she knew the fucking shit what was going on. Yeah. So good on you, Yoko. Good on you, Flann O'Brien. Good on you, Wilhelm Reich. Revolution's already started, people. We all know what's thank you. You don't have to buy anything.
But you can.
You can if you like. Whatever.
I won't ask you, Simon, because you're the
How much for the
artiste,
gentleman in the
but what
fedora?
about